Hey, welcome to Legals and Biz with Riz, the podcast offering you business and legal tips without the boring legalese. I'm your host, Riz McDonald, and I'm here to answer your questions and offer general advice in the clearest way possible. So grab your beverage of choice, sit back, and get ready to build your empire with Find Legal. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of Legals and Biz with Riz. I'm your host, Riz McDonald, and in this week's podcast, we are discussing mindset, and in particular, how a growth mindset can really benefit you both in life and business. I've always been fascinated by how people deal with problems or situations in life, particularly in my immediate family, as well as my siblings, and how we've all made different life choices that have impacted our life, and it's down to the mindset that we have. And I've spent a bit of time researching it, and I came across a wonderful woman called Carol Dweck, and she said something that really kind of resonated with me, and I quote, "For some people, failure is the end of the world. For others, it's a new opportunity." Now, if you're not familiar with Carol Dweck, she's an American psychologist and psychology professor at Stanford University, and she does a lot of work basically in mindset, psychological trait. And not only is she an amazing human being, but a great thought leader, where her contributions have really helped assist entrepreneurs and businesses around the world basically stretch and become amazing people. Now, if you haven't heard about growth or fixed mindset and wondering what on earth I'm talking about, let me explain a little. Basically, I'm talking about mindsets, the attitude that people may have in response to basically any kind of problem or situation in their life, whether there's business development, career opportunities, and interviews, going to a job interview, how they address that. Dweck defines a growth mindset as a mindset where people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Brains and talent are just the starting point. Now, this view creates a love of learning and a resilience that's essential for accomplishment. So, what's a fixed mindset, I hear you ask? Well, according to Dweck, that's where people believe their basic qualities like their intelligence or talent are simply fixed traits. They spend their time documenting their intelligence or talent instead of developing them. Now, which mindset resonates with you guys? For me, it's definitely growth mindset. And like I said, I've come across different attitudes to life and challenges in life amongst my own family. And it's so interesting to see when we're all from the same gene pool and we all have different attitudes to how we process and deal with things. It's always fascinated me. The fact is, these mindsets can be formed from a young age. So in life and in business, people operate with these mindsets. And more often than not, they're on a bit of a sliding scale in my experience. So it's not always black and white. That being said, people who are open to and embrace a growth mindset are much more likely, in my experience at least, to be successful in their work and happier with their life in general than those who operate in a predominantly fixed mindset. For fixed mindsets, individuals tend to be much more reluctant to change. They aren't as curious. They tend to stick to what they know. And if something challenges their familiarity, then they're not very comfortable with that. And it sounds a bit closed off, in my view, and a difficult way to live and work. So I think it's super important to address and find ways in which you can work on your mindset so that it's more of a growth mindset and it'll open up more opportunities. For those with a growth mindset, failure isn't seen as a bad thing, it's seen as an opportunity. So the big question, how can you have a growth mindset and have it benefit you in work and in life as a whole? Look, let's face it, failure doesn't feel very good at all, does it? But to a fixed mindset, it can create an even larger sense of self-doubt and insecurity and potentially even defensiveness. So they believe that they were born with these traits, their smarts, their talents, And any failure then becomes very personal and kind of scary because they are how they are. And as far as they're concerned, their intelligence or talent cannot be improved upon much. Whereas growth mindsets embrace failure. Look, yes, failure still stinks, but they see failure as an opportunity to grow and learn. And persistence, they keep trying. It's that can do, keep try and try again attitude that can lead to innovative thinking and new ways of approaching a problem. Not just at work, but in life. You can get better, you can be better with hard work and persistence. And look, you can have a growth mindset and sometimes have a fixed mindset and vice versa. It's trying to get to more of a growth mindset than having a fixed mindset. Learning to love a challenge is, in my view, key to professional growth and development. Whether the challenge comes across as a competitor, newly appearing in your field, or it's a personal goal you've wanted to achieve, challenging yourself can lead to feelings of happiness, determination, and fulfillment. Launching this podcast, I've got to tell you, be honest with you, it was bloody challenging. So many challenges. It was happening during COVID. I've had homeschooling, not the ideal place to record. I've had to hide away in my bedroom, hide from the dogs and the kids. It's been bloody challenging. And I won't lie to you, there's been days where I thought, why am I doing this? But I've persevered and look, here I am. It's not perfect. It's going to be a bit sketchy at times, but I'm working on that. I'm working on improving on it. And I'm just, going to keep going and do my best. And it actually feels really good. It really feels good that I'm doing this. So whereas if I had a fixed mindset, then I would be so afraid of all these challenges that I was facing and give up before I even started. And that's not me. And that's not something I wanted to do. So yes, it's been hard. Yes, it's been, scary and all those things and very challenging with all the issues around where can I record, when can I record, but I persevered. Great growth mindsetter that comes to mind now, I don't know if growth mindset is a word, but I'm going to go with it, is Steve Jobs. Look, if he didn't embrace innovation, if he didn't do the things he did and didn't believe in the things he did, would Apple be the giant it is today? Whether you're working solo or whether you have a team of employees, encouraging opportunities to experiment and brainstorm can only benefit your business in the long run. The more safe you feel, and if you're in a safe place and expanding and looking at the opportunities, you're going to be more open to the creativity and the possibilities and getting out of your comfort zone. And then there's the more chance of you growing not only your business, but the way you live and enjoy your life as a whole. And when you have a growth mindset, there's so many opportunities open up to you. You're more willing to look at things like collaborations, learning from other talented individuals who can help you stretch as a person and learn from them and collaborate with them. Whereas with a fixed mindset, you're more automatically going to see them as a threat rather than as a potential friend and business opportunity. Whereas a growth mindset might remind themselves that this person has so much to offer, and by collaborating and brainstorming and connecting and asking questions, something really amazing can happen. And it teaches you to be a better leader as well. So after all this, where do you guys sit? If you're someone with a fixed mindset, are you ready to break free and embrace the possibility? Well, here's the thing, you can. It just takes practice. If you didn't grow up with the good fortune of being taught to enjoy learning and embrace mistakes, it doesn't mean you're doomed to be a fixed mindset forever. Look, for me, growing up, there was a lot of fixed mindset thinking going on, but I seem to have more of a growth mindset. And whenever faced with challenges, I would approach it with the attitude that if I set my mind to it, I could achieve it. I believed in this so much that when I eventually became a lawyer, I also applied to be a notary public in Scotland. And when you do that, you get to choose your own Latin motto. And I chose mine to be Perseverantia Vincit. Perseverance conquers. Now, I hope I haven't butchered that pronunciation. And for those who want to know, notary public in Scotland are solicitors who witness documents where the legal validity of the document requires the swearing of an oath. So there's a bit of legalese for you. Now, my growth mindset attitude meant I was the first person in my family to achieve higher education. In fact, I was the first to achieve a degree. And with that attitude and that way of thinking has basically led me onto the path that I am on now. And I'm so happy that I am. The question is, how do you learn to embrace and develop a growth mindset? Well, first and foremost, you really do need to listen to that voice inside your head that says you can't do something, and that says you aren't good enough or creates that sense of fear. Recognize it. Don't shy away from it. Recognize it and then work on it. You have to understand you do have a choice about how you want to live your life. You aren't stuck. You can choose to take the little steps that can lead to change. I really strongly believe that. You can exercise your brain just like you exercise your body. You can teach your brain to make new neurological connections. Like when you learn to play a musical instrument or learn a new language, the more you practice, the stronger those connections will become. So allow yourself to embrace a little discomfort. Think about the recent mistakes you've made at work or with family, or a time when you felt less than adequate. Then begin to think about all the ways that you can learn from those experiences. What could you have done differently for next time? Sitting in those feelings of failure or less than can be uncomfortable. I get that. It is uncomfortable. But you will learn in time to see those moments, in my view, as little gifts, and you can grow and change. Allow yourself to be inspired by the success of others, or maybe it's as simple as trying something new to get that feeling of exhilaration you've been so afraid to let in. Take a singing lesson. Go on a trip overseas. Well, not just yet, but you know what I mean. Go dancing. Dance in your living room. Whatever it is, try something that takes you out of your comfort zone, one step at a time. It does take time, determination and effort to change your mindset, but it is possible. So set up some little challenges and celebrate those wins. Little by little, you will move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, and you really will be amazed with the possibilities, the surprises and opportunities you'll be ready to take on. Look at me. I came from a background where education wasn't valued, and I'm now a lawyer. I was the first in my family to get a law degree. So if I can do it, you can do it. Well, that's it for this episode of Legals and Biz with Riz. As always, thanks for listening. If you like this episode, raise a glass and show us some love by subscribing. And if you're feeling extra jazzed, we'd love a little review. If there are any topics you'd like to hear about, shoot us a message and we'll get on it. Till next time, this is Riz of Found Legal signing off.